So let us review together what we learned on last session. We learned on our last session about what's Power BI, why do we need to use Power BI. Also, we learned about what's the main building blocks that we have it within Power BI. Also, I showed you the basic features that it's really interesting to know within Power BI. We did a live demo together. I showed you all the main building blocks like a report, a relationship. Also, I showed to you the how we can build a relationship, the report, visualization from where we can get our data. All this we did it on our last session. Also, we learned about what's the main flow process and how what kind of a platform do we have for Power BI. As I mentioned that we have Power BI desktop, which is today we will do our reports together by using Power BI desktop. Also, we saw how many users do we have for the Power BI, who can use the Power BI. As we mentioned, anyone. It doesn't matter if you have an IT background or if you don't have any IT background, you can use Power BI and it's easy to learn. So also, I provide to you a homework that you need to install Power BI so you'll be able to do the case study together within our upcoming session and even for today's session. So in case if you missed the last session, it's already available on my YouTube. I will put the link on the chat. Just go there and watch it to learn about what we learned on our last session. Okay, cool. So what we will learn today, we will learn, we will take a case study, and within this case study, I already put it on the chat, which is we will follow a specific case study that we have it from Microsoft, and it will be a good start for us as a beginner. We will learn what's the benefit of the visualization, what's the data visualization, and also what kind of visualization types do we have within Power BI, and when to use what. And for sure, I will give you a homework. I will add it on the chat, and it will be easy for you to do some practice on Power BI. So, what's our case study today?
Mate, someone is waiting in the lobby.
Hello? Okay. So, what's our case
Someone is
study
waiting
today?
in the lobby.
Okay, let me check. There is no one actually. Yeah, I already.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can
Okay,
carry on.
sure. Thank you. So what we will learn today on our case study, we want to create a dashboard for manufacturing company, and in the dashboard we need to look on a specific area like who is the top vendors are, what categories we spend the most on, and how we can filter our data in easiest way. All this stuff we will learn it together, and our data source will be an Excel. If you look at the documents, or let me show it to you from Microsoft, what we have here. Just a minute. If you go to the site that I put it on the meetup and even on the chat, you can install the Excel, like you can install the sample that we have it for Power BI, and you can export it as a package actually or as a Excel. So today the main focus that I will show you how we can build it. We don't need to take the final product, which is this one. We don't need to take the Power BI file because at the end we want to see how we can build the file together. Okay, so our data source will be an Excel actually, and we will see how we can add our data source to our file. So what do we need to do before we do the case study? We need to install Power BI desktop. So if you don't have it, I really suggest for you to install it. And if you don't have it for today, don't worry, just watch my video or my session today. I will post it on YouTube, and later on after you install Power BI, you can follow all my steps. And we will do also, we need the data source, which is the Excel, to be able to add it to our Power BI. So it's time now to start building our first dashboard together. So let me open the Power BI and let's get started. So as I mentioned, once you open your Power BI, you will be able to see this page. Either you can get your data from here or you can cancel it. Then what's the first step? As I mentioned on our last session, that the first step you need to understand your data very clear. You need to know what kind of data that I want to import to my Power BI, and how many data source that I want to add to my Power BI. Also, I would like to know, like, uh, what kind of type. For example, here I will have only Excel. I don't have any other data source. So I just need to understand what kind of type of data source and how many data source do I need to add. And you need to understand what kind of data you have it in your Excel or whatever data that you have it. For example, here we have an Excel. So I'm very sure that I would like to build a dashboard by using only one data source, which is Excel. And I understand what I want to build here. So it's very important to understand and to build your like user interface, whatever you want in a paper or any other platform, to see what kind of things that you want to build it on your Power BI or your report. So first step, we want to link our data source to our Power BI. So how we can do this step? From here we have get data, or there's a short way by clicking on Excel. So let's use this one. As I mentioned on last session, that if you are using a different data source, and you just need to go there and search about it by clicking in more. So in our sessions today, we will use Excel. So as I mentioned, you have either by clicking get data or Excel, but let me show you here to just recap whatever we mentioned on last session, that we have several data sources type here. And it's up to you what do you want to link in your Power BI. So for me, I will link Excel, which is I have it for the our example today, and click on it. And once we select our data source, and once we start to connect our data source to our Power BI, we will get a pop-up message. It show me like what kind of tables that I have it on my data source. For example, here I'm using Excel. It means within my Excel, I have a several tables or several sheets that within the Excel. So in our example today, we will import everything that we have it from Excel to be on our file here, because maybe we will use all data or specific columns from a specific table and link it to other. Okay. If you remember that, what I mentioned on last time, that we have two options here. Either we have load or we have a transform data. And what's the difference between load and transform data? Load, it means I'm ready to import my data source without doing any change. But in the future, if you want to do any change to your data source, you can do it by click on transform data. Or you can go immediately to transform data, edit your data, do whatever you want before you import it to your Power BI. So here I will click on load data, and based on your connection, based on the data size, it will be imported to your Power BI. So here we have not much of data, so it's really easy to be loaded to our Power BI. And the powerful thing is actually with Power BI, if you have any error or anything, you will be able to get a pop-up message like there is something wrong with this column. There is something, you have something like you name something in a wrong way. So you will get the error message within Power BI while you are loading your data. And how can I fix this? Should I go to the original data source and do? No, actually you can fix it within Power BI by go to the transform data. So transform data, it's the main place that you can edit, delete, change whatever you want to do to your data without going back to your original source. So here we have an error. I will ignore it for now because I'm sure it will not impact, but you can click view errors and you can see your errors. Okay, now we have all our data. It's opening another page. Yeah, because I click on view errors. So I think it will guide me to the transform data page, but let us wait for a few seconds and see what kind of message we are able to see. Okay, cool. There is nothing. Okay, let me go back here. Here we go. As I mentioned, after you load your data and import your data to your Power BI, you will be able to see all your tables or your data source under fields section. It means here how many table do I have or how many data source. We have only one Excel, but we have a several table because each one represent the table that you have. It maybe in your Excel, SQL, it doesn't matter. So each part, it means it's like a unique data source that we have it. So here we have for currency, we have for date, we have for exchange rate, we have invoice, invoice line item, also we have item, we have location, we have vendor. So first step, we import our data. And before to import your data, as I mentioned, you need to understand your data. Otherwise, you will mess up by building your dashboard and you will get a lot of error because you don't understand what kind of data you have. So we are already done with the first part, understanding our data, import our data. Second, things that we need to focus on it, that how we can build our what we call it, our reports. What kind of visualization that I want to build in my report. So in our scenario today, that we want to build like a spend overview. First of all, if you want to build like for example a several pages, it's here the correct place to add your pages. For example, here I can add like a spend, and you can change the name over a few page. Okay. What if I want to add another page? You can add another page. Maybe we can add it like test page or whatever you want to call it. So whatever you are building on spend over a few, it will not reflect back here unless you have a specific visualization or filter or something. I will show it to you. We will do a quick test here. But let us build the first page or report. Each page we can call it as a report within Power BI. So now I want to build a visual that show me the total invoice by month and category. How can I do this? Is it possible to do it? Yes. So first, I'm sure what kind of visual that I want to see here. But from where can I get like the month, the category? As I mentioned, you have two options to build your visualization. Either to check whatever, to click on whatever visual that you want to build. For example, if I want to build this one, let me, okay. So if you want to build a specific visual here, you can check it from visualization, or you can select your data from the tables that you have it here, then you can add it. So let's try to use both way. First way that I would like to use this visual to represent my total invoice by month and category. So let me add it here and let me close this one. I will explain it to you later on. Okay. Now I would like to see the total invoice by month and category. So let me go to the invoice because the total invoice, it's under invoice line item. And you will be able to see a column here. We call it like invoice amount. And here it's very important point, for each visual there is a specific format. For example, here we have a several type because when you click on your visual, you are able to add your columns in this area, which is here. We call it fields. But if you want to format your visual, like I would like to choose this color, I would like to change the data style, you can do it under format. So let's start by adding our columns to our first visual here. I would like to use invoice amount. Okay. And also I would like to use category. So to make it, if you want to add your column in very quick way, you can click on search and type the column name if you are if you already know the column name. So here it's category. So I would like to use this one, but I don't want to add it here. I would like to add it here. So it's up to you how you want to represent your data. And also I would like to add the month because I would like to see the category or the total invoice by month and category. So the month, I can use this one. Here we go. Now we have an error. Why do you think that we are facing an error here? As I mentioned on our last session, there is something very important, which is we will have a specific session about it on next Friday about the relationship. If you are noticed here, we are using how many tables? We are using one, two, three, three tables. It means for sure there is more than maybe two relationship between all these tables. So if you get this message, it means there is something. And if we click fix this, it show you like relation detection. It means there is no relationship. There's something wrong. And it showed me here there is a missing relationship between these fields. It means maybe there is one table, it's not linked to other table, or there is no relationship. So you have two options. Either you click auto detect, maybe you disable it from your setting, but there is still no relationship. As I mentioned, auto detect relationship, which is we will go in more details about it on upcoming session. It's smart, but not smart enough to detect to read the data inside your column. So if you have the same column name, it will detect as a relationship. But if you have, for example, two different name of the columns, but they have the same numbers, Power BI auto detect will not detect it. So that's why you need to be very careful and understand more about the relationship. So I will fix it now. I will show it to you very quick, but I will not go in more details about relationship because we will have a specific session about it. So how can I fix this one? I can go here to relationship. And if we look our table, actually we are using item, we used, let me remember, we used item, let me remember the data, category, and also we used invoice. So let me look at the items. Let me make it smaller. Here we go. If we look at the date, because we used a month from date, there is no relationship, right? It's nothing linked. So how can I do this? So I know my data very, very well, and I know we're supposed to have a relationship between invoice, and if we let me zoom it so you will be able to read the column. Here we have actually invoice date ID, and it's equal to date ID here. So how can I do the relationship? But actually, in fact, I'm using this one. So, but if you have a relationship between this column and this one, it's already we have a relationship with invoice line item. You don't need to build a direct relationship because there is a common column here. Don't worry, you will understand everything by upcoming session. But let me do the relationship right now, and I will select, where is it? Yeah, invoice date ID. As I mentioned, there is a lot of type of relationship. We will explain it later. Let me click OK. Here we go. Now it's working. We fixed the issue because there was no relationship between date and invoice line item. So the only way to build a relationship between date and invoice, because we have a common relationship between invoice line and invoice. So this is how I built my first visual. But now let us think about, I would like to change the format. How can I do this? You need to click on your visual. From there, click here. For example, if I don't want to see the X, which is the name of the month, you can turn it off. Even here, you can turn it off. But what if I want to add it, my title? It seems okay, but I would like to add it, the alignment to change it to be in the middle. Also, I would like to add a background. So it's easy to use to format. It's just how to change the colors, the font, all this stuff. So let me add it in yellow color. Okay. What if I want to add a background? Just turn it on and you can change the color. So let me make it, no, I would like to make it like this. Okay. And you can change. Okay. If you want to add a border to your visual, you can add it. If you want to change from here, you can make it similar to this style. So a lot of cool stuff you can do it actually with the format. Even if you want to change, for example, here we have category, which is four categories type, right? If you want to change the color, you can do it very easy from here. So I can change, or you can show all as, even if you want to change the month, you can change it. So it's up to you how you want to change the color. It's up to you how to you want to represent your data, or what kind of format that you want to do. It's all under format. You need to click on your visual from there. Okay, let me highlight something here before we move to the second visual. If, as I mentioned, once we are ready, we will publish our report to the Power BI service, and from there we are able to share it to with our colleague, right? So see this three dots. If you publish your Power BI reports or dashboard with three dots, the end user will be able to do all this functionality. Either export, even they can export the data. Sometimes you don't want the user to export the data. So how can I disable this function? From here, click on your visual. From the format, we call it visual header. And from there, just turn it off. Even if you turn it off, still you are able to see it here because you are in Power BI desktop. But if you go to Power BI service and after you share it with your team, you will not be able to see it at all. It will be disabled. So sometimes you have a confidential data. You don't want them to export it. You just want them to see as a visual. So it's very important to turn it off. Okay, there's a lot of format here. You can add it, a lot of cool stuff. You can do it from here. It's easy to use. Even here, if for example here, I would like to change the data labels, or I would like to see the numbers for each point here. You can turn on the data labels from here, and you can change the color, change the font size, a lot of things. But here I will turn it off because I don't want it to see it. And what else? So this is the most important thing. As I mentioned, for each visual, there is a specific style that we have it. Okay, so we already did the first part here. Let us create the second visual. And now we will build actually three more visuals here. And after we build the three more visuals, we will add a filter and I will show you how we can filter our data and how it will impact all the visuals that we have it. Second visual, actually, I would like to build like a total invoice by subcategory. The first way that we used our building our visual, actually, we choose the visual, then we add our data. But now we will do the opposite way, which is we will choose our data, then we will choose the what we call it, the visual. So as I mentioned, now we will like to see the total invoice. So we will use the same item here. And very important point here, if you want to start building your second visual, you need to remove your mouse from this visual. So just click on the empty page. So you're supposed to see similar to this one, values, there is nothing. So what I need to add here, I would like to add a subcategory. Let me search about it here, subcategory. Also, what I would like to add, I would like to add like total invoice, which is I will choose invoice amount. Also, if I would like to add more details, like if you want to add, let me see if there is any details or something. Okay, let me add it. Cool. Now, Power BI is smart enough to detect the correct visual for me, but in my scenario, I don't want to see it as a table. I would like to see it in other visuals. So now I already select my values. I need to select my visual, which is I will select this one. Let me click on it. Now we have a different formats, right? Or it's similar to the one that we have it, but after you select your data, Power BI will detect whatever he want to add to your visual, but I don't want to see it in this way. I would like to add the invoice. We can keep it as a values, but I would like to move this one to be here. Cool. Now we have the invoice amount, which is here by subcategory. Okay, the question is here, what if I want to do the same format, which is the background, the header, the font size, the colors? I would like to have the same format that I have it here to be in my second visual. How can I do this without duplicating the same thing? Sometimes it will be maybe within your report you are building more than 10 visuals and you would like to see all them within the same format. The easiest way, actually, you just need to click on the visual that you want to copy the format, Similar way that we have it in Word, even in PowerPoint. And from there, click in Home, and there is a format. Click on it, and once you click on it, move it to the visual that you want to paste the format. And here we go. As simple as this is the easiest way, and you will not waste your time by doing the same thing from scratch. But do you think that if I do this step, it will reflect the visual type or the visual style that I have it here? No, at all. Just the font, the format that you have it in your visual. Even if you have a different format, even if you have a different visuals, whatever you have here, a format from text or size or font, it will be reflect back to the one that you want to change it. Okay, cool. So now I don't want to change the color, or maybe you want to sort it in a different way. So you can click here, sort ascending, or maybe you want to do it in other way. And I would like to do a few formats here. Let me check. For example, here, I would like to check the data. No, the data, I will keep it as it is, but let me check something that I would like to highlight it. Just a minute. Yeah, I would like to see the data labels here. So you can keep it as it is by clicking on turn on data labels. But I don't want to see the units as a auto. So you can add it, for example, as a millions or whatever that you want to see it here. And also the position, maybe you want to add it outside of the end, which is we have it, it's here, it's auto, but you can change it. Maybe you can add it inside center or any other place. So this is the correct place to change the data labels, add it or remove it or turn it on or off. Cool. And what else? Maybe you want to change the title by checking this one and so on. Okay, cool. Now we build the second visual. Let us move to the third visual, which is I would like to see a map. And within this map, actually, I would like to see the total invoice by country and region. And also I would like to add a city. So how can I do this? Let us try something different here. I don't like to use anything that we have it here in visualization. Here we have already a map, but I don't want to use it. I would like to use another format. How can I do it? By clicking here, you can get more visuals and it will open for you the marketplace. The marketplace, it's the place that you can find a lot of visualization. It's available, certified from Microsoft. So let me type here map to make it easier for you. And once you click map, you will be able to see what kind of visual that's available by as a map style. So for example, I would like to choose, let me see what kind of things that we have it. Okay, I will choose this one. How can I select it? By clicking on add. And once you click on add, it will take a few seconds to be imported. And once it's imported to your Power BI, you will be able to see it here under the main visualization. Cool. Now let us select the country, which is I will select this one. Also, I would like to select a city. See, Power BI is smart enough to detect the correct visualization. So I didn't pick any visual. By default, Power BI select for me this one. And also what I would like to see, um, country, city, and also the value, which is I would like to see, or here we don't have a value. If you look at it here, first I would like to move a city here. We don't have value, we have a size. It means show me, for example, this city, it contains a lot of invoice. So based on the size, we are able to see how many invoice do we have. So let me select the invoice amount. Cool. It means within US we have a lot of invoices. So, okay, now I don't want to use this one. I would like to use another one, which is this one. So we have value, we have a country, you can change, you can add a city if you want. But let me highlight something here, very important, but let me here move it out to be able to see the numbers. Okay, so sometimes when you have your location like a country or city as a text, here the format is the text. And once you select like a map visualization, it will not work with you, or you will be able to see as an empty page or empty visual. There is nothing. Why? Here we are lucky it's working, but sometimes it will not work because the type of your column here, it's a text. So you need to change it. So how can I do this? And I already highlighted on our last session, you need to be very careful of your data type. It means sometimes you are having a country, city, maybe date, maybe month as a text, and it will not work if you select, for example, a date visualization. You will get an error, or sometimes you will get a wrong data. So, for example, here, I would like to change a country and region from text to another, which is the correct data category. From here, the easiest way, click on your column like this, go to columns tools, and from there, we have something we call it data category. From data category, you are able to select the correct type. For example, here it's not image. Even for the image, sometimes the people they are not getting their images within the visual of the image because they are not adding their data category in a right way. So here it's a country. It means I will select country. For city, similar way. And now you will be able to see most of the things will be changed, but for the city, similar way, I would like to change it to be as a city. Cool. So now I'm able to see the city in a correct way, and which is the small dot. Okay, cool. Let me, and even if you want to choose this one, you are able to do it, and so on. So this is very important point because sometimes you are not getting the correct thing. So be careful with your data type that you have it. And even here, for example, you can group it. You can for each visual there is a specific format. Now let us format the background, everything, the border, the background, the header with the same format that we have it here, and let us add it here. Cool. Now let us build the last visual that we have it here, then we can move to the filter options. Okay, now I would like to see the total invoice by tire. So how can I add this one? Let us select first the visual. Then from after we select the visual, we can add our data, which is the first way of building any visual. I will select this one. And from there, I will search about tire, and which is here. Also, I would like to add the invoice, which is invoice amount. Today, I will not talk more about like a measure, how we can add a calculated column. We have a specific session about it because it's another way of building your calculation within Power BI. So today we just visualize our data. But if I want to add my calculation, I want to add my column, I would like to add a specific measure. Is it possible to add it to my data? Yes, we have a calculated column, we have a measure. um, on relationship part, I will talk more about it. I will try my best to cover the basic thing about the calculated column and measure and what's the difference between each part. And also we have something we call it DAX. So to be able to cover all the basic thing. So here we go. Now we have our invoice by tire, and which is here. What if I want to change the number, the format? Similar way. So let me change the format first, then we can change the data labels and all this stuff. So let me click here, click on format and move it here. Cool. Now I would like to add the data labels here. I want to make it as millions here. Cool. The question here, I'm seeing all my invoice without any, like, it's not dollars, it's not Saudi riyal. I don't know. how can I add this one? How can I change it? How can I add, for example, a dollar sign here for my invoice? So how can I do this in easiest way? First, I need to check or to click on my column that I'm adding to all my visual, which is invoice amount, right? Click on it. From there, under columns tools, there is here, just a minute. Okay, cool. From here, it's already, we click on the dollar sign, but what if I want to see it, for example, I would like to use a euro or Saudi riyal or dirham or whatever you want to see. So, for example, here, if I want to use Saudi riyal in Arabic way, which is here, you can you can select whatever you want. So here I make it in Saudi riyal in Arabic. Maybe you want to add dollar sign, so it's up to you at the end. So here we go. This is the easiest way to change or to add, or for example, here it's a text, it's amount, or it's a numbers with the sum, but there is no sign, or there is, I don't know if it's dollar or Saudi riyal or anything, which is the currency of this one. So from columns tool, after you click on it, you will be able to see it. But what if you didn't click on the column? You will not be able to see any columns tools, because for each one that we have it under the name of the data source, it means it's a column. And as we mentioned, Power BI will read your tables and as a table. We read your data as a table. So, for example, if I have a text or something, it's not as a table style, will not be able to read it. So that's why for each part we call it as a column within Power BI. Okay, cool. Now we have four main visuals. I'm already prepared my first report. What if I want to add a filter? Maybe I would like to see a category, subcategory, different filters. So let me move it here and add a few filters. Maybe my manager, he will want to come here and filter by a country. Let us add a country. So first, let me select a country or region here. So how can I select a filter? The easiest way, which is here, click on it. And from there, you have two options. Either you can make it as a list or a drop down. Or if it's number, you will be able to see like between and so on. Let me change the format by using this one and add it here. Cool. So now we have a format, but let me remove the border here. I don't want to see a border. And make it smaller, or maybe border I can change, make it 0. Cool. What if I want to add another filter? Copy, the easiest way that I'm doing to all my reports, copy, Control C, Control V. Then what I'm doing actually, I'm just changing the field here. For example, here I would like to see by city and remove this one. Similar way, I would like to add another one, and let me add a category. Cool, and remove this one. Last one, which is you can add as much as you want actually, add a subcategory. Now let us see what we can do with the filters thing, which is the really powerful things within Power BI. So, and it's really helpful for the end user to get their data, because sometimes if you are building your dashboard for a business case, actually, maybe you have for different departments, and for each department, they don't care for other departments. Actually, they are focusing on their departments, right? Either you build your report by having your own filter here and you make it to read all the data, or there is another way. But let me explain to you the filter that we added to our report, then I will show you something else. So here we go. Now the question is, I have four filters. Do you think when I select any filter, for example, here we have two country, when I select any filter from here, will impact all my visualization, or will impact only the one that it's linked to the country? So let's try it. I will pick like now USA, and let me remove it again and see the difference. Let's try it again. You are able to see all my visuals. It's related and linked to this one because we have a relationship between all the tables that we are reading for USA. If we don't, for example, if this my visual, there is no relationship between the data that we have it here, it will be the same. It will not change. So based on your relationship between your tables, based if this filter it's already linked to your tables here or there is a relationship, even if it's if you are not adding us here. So if you look at the country here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's only in this visual. But once we filter it, actually it's impact all my visualization because we have a relationship between our tables. So even if you filter USA here, if you look to the other filter, which is the second point I would like to highlight it here, the city will be linked to the USA. The category will be linked to the USA. Subcategory, it's linked to the USA because I have a relationship between all these tables, either by direct relationship or indirect relationship. So all this depends on the relationship, which is we will cover it on upcoming session. But this is the powerful things with Power BI. Once you filter or you filter anything within your Power BI here by using a filter visualization, it will impact and reflect back to all your visualization and all your filters visual that you have it on your Power BI. So let's try another one. Let me select a category, for example, or city. Let me select here. If you look at now, country, it's a change based on the city. The category will change based on the city, even the subcategory. And all my visuals will change and will provide me the data under this city, but for all category, all country, all subcategory. So this is the powerful thing actually with Power BI. This is the first part of the filter. Either you add your filter here, but what if I don't want to give the functionality to the user to filter their data? I just wanted to provide them a specific data and I would like to filter it from my side. I don't want them to do any filtration or anything. How can I do this? If you look at here, we have a filters, and for this filters, actually, we have filters on this page. We have filters on all pages. And if you click on your visual here, you will be able to see filters on this visual. So let's go one by one. Filter on this page and let's try it. Filter on this page, it means I have all my data. It's reading all the things that I have it on my data source. But what if I want to filter my data that I have it here in this report for last year, only last year? I don't want the user to read all the things that I have it on my data source. How can I do it? In easiest way. The easiest way, for example, here, let me select the year column, add it under on filters all here, filters on this page. And from there, I will pick basic filters because I know the number. So I will select, for example, for let's select for this year. So now, do we have a data here? Let me, because we are filtering here. Let me remove the filter here. Okay, cool. So now within this page, we are filtering our data for this year. So even here, whatever we are having here, it will impact the filter that we have it here. So for example, category here, it's only for this year. But if I remove the filter, see the category and see all the visual will be different. So filter on this page, it means, let me add here. Okay, filter on this page, it means that you want to filter your data. You don't want the user to see all your data that you have it in your data sources with a specific maybe date, year, or category, whatever you want. Only for this page, which is spend overview. What if I want to do the same filter or maybe other filter to all my pages? It means if I have here 100 pages, I would like to filter it with this year. How can I do? The same way. You need to add your filter under filters on all pages. It means you are filtering your data before you visualize it. You visualize it in your page, or even after you build your visualization, you can do this step. It doesn't matter. And from there, if you click here, filter on. So let me select this one. And you need to remove this one because you have it filtered on this page. And let me show you something. So now we are filtering all pages. It means whatever I have on the second one, it means I'm reading for this year. But what if I want to filter, for example, this page with a specific category? Let me add a category here, and I will filter it with direct only. It means here I'm filtering my page, specific page, which is this page, spent over a few page with direct category, and all my pages with this year. It means if I let us copy and paste, I can duplicate my page and it will show me duplicate. Okay, and delete this one. Okay, here I will call it a new page. Mhm. And let me show you the difference. But here I duplicated, it means whatever I have from the filter, it will be the same. But let me remove here the filter on this page. Let us go back here and see. Here we have two filters within this page, which is the direct category, and we have a year for all pages. If we go to the new page, we are able to see for all category because I don't have any filter here. Maybe I would like to filter it with subcategory, but it will not impact the first page. And but if you look at the filter on all pages, it will be the same because you are adding a specific filter here. So this is the difference between filters on this page, filters on all pages, and the filter that you have it as a visual within your report. But if you want to filter, for example, here, the last part, if I want to filter my visual here, I don't want to filter all my data with with the specific specific category or specific things. I would like to filter my category here with a specific column. How can I do? You click on your visual, you will be able to see filters on this visual. So here I'm reading the invoice by subcategory, but in fact, actually, I don't want to read for all category. I would like to read only for maybe hardware. So click on hardware. So every time, once you publish your report or if you have any new data, the end user and even you here, you will be able to see only the invoice amount by subcategory for hardware only because you already added here. But if you go to the new page, which is the second page, it's for all because you did not filter it. And if you want to do it, you need similar way to do here, click and add a filter or filter it from the data that you have it. And maybe you want to add more, you can add it more. So let us recap very quick what we learned about the filter. You can add your filters here without adding anything here, or you can do the both. Filters here, it will give a functionality to the user to filter their data and get their data very quick. Um, if you want to customize your reports before you publish it to the user, and if you don't want the user to read all the data, how you can do this? By either adding a filter on all pages if you have a common column that you want to filter all your data for all pages, because sometimes you want to add a specific visual on page and you don't want to have it on other page, but there is a specific column. So the correct place to visualize it or to filter it by adding under filters on all pages. But if I want to filter this page with a specific year and the second one with a specific year or other column, you need to filter on this page and add the column here. If I want to visual or I want to filter my specific visual in a specific data, click on your visual. Either you can select from the data that you have it here, or you can add a data field here and filter it. So this is the basic things because a lot of people they are confusing between the filters and how can I use this one. And actually, if you don't want the user to see this one after you publish it, you can click here. So here it means the user will be able to see your filter. If you don't want them to see your filters here, just click on it from here. Just hide it and they will not be able to see it at all. They will be able to see only these filters that you have it here. So this is the main thing. There is a lot of functionality how you can synchronize the filters between all the pages and everything, which is we will cover it later on. I hope that I covered the most important things about the data visualization. How can we add the different types of the visualization, the format, even how you can add a report or different pages, how you can duplicate your page, a lot of things that you can do it. And while you are practicing, and I really recommend for you that do a lot of a practice, because while you are practicing you will notice a lot of things, and every time you'll say a new things for you. In this way you are helping yourself to learn more and more. So now it's a good time. If you have any question, just type it on the chat. I will be able to read it and answer it. So let us see what kind of questions do we have here. And as I mentioned, if you have anything, if you need any support, just reach me out on my Twitter, LinkedIn, even Meetup. You can write a comment and just let me know. I would like really to support you. But let us see if there's any question. Just feel free to answer to type it here on the chat. Okay, so you are facing an issue on how you can download this one. After you open the link from here, if you go down, there is a Power BI. Either you click here on this package, which is will download for you everything, or you can click on PVX IX file, which is the Power BI file. And once you download it, you will be able to see all the visualization already built and for you. But you don't want to do this because either you can keep it and practice on it, or which is already linked to your data source. So this is the one that I downloaded from here. It's linked to the data source. You can play around by the visualization. But if you want to import your data from scratch, you can explore the Excel samples and Excel by clicking here. And once you click here, you will be able to see the Excel that we have it on the data. You can follow all the steps that they have it here. But the easiest way for you, go there, download the Power BI because you know how to get your data, and start playing around with the visualization. Let me copy and paste again the link in case if you don't have it. How about the Excel data? Looks like the sample Excel file is different. Let me share with you. I will try to share with you here. I'm not sure if I can attach the documents, but I will share with you the Excel that I have it. But just a minute here. There's no way to add it here. So what I can do, I will add it on my drive, which is maybe Gmail drive or OneDrive, and I will add the link on Meetup. It's the best way. I will add all the package on the Meetup on our session today. Excel, Power BI, everything. So you'll be able to install it immediately. Okay, so any other question? Hopefully by end of today or tomorrow morning, we will be able to see the package on Meetup. Okay, team. Thank you so much for attending the session today, and don't forget to register on upcoming session. We will have a lot of things to share on next Friday. We will learn about what we call it about relationship, how we can manage a relationship on Power BI, and also what's the difference between. But before we move, let me highlight the homework that you need to practice on it, which is I will add it on the meetup. We have two tasks actually. The first one, we have like an Excel data source, and you need to do some. I will show you the task that you need to work on the query editor, which is transform data, and you need to learn how to create a chart while you are doing the task one, and how you can apply the filter. Task two, it's a Excel data source, and it's like making sure that to prepare yourself for the upcoming session by doing a relationship between tables. So this task two, it's all task actually, it's really easy to do, and there is a steps already there. You just need to follow the step, and it's like to give you more opportunity to practice more and more. So we have a question here: how do you set the visual header inside the visual? The default setting to have the visual header on the outside. Okay, let me open again the Power BI. As I mentioned, for each visual, there is a specific style, but let me make it here. So let's see this one. For example, here you will be able to see a title, right? Maybe you don't want to see a title. There is a specific one. Let me remember where is it. I think not in data. I did it before. It's not in general. Somewhere here, but let me just remember. Somewhere here in the format actually, but I'm trying to remember. But if you look at the title, you can add it here. I think there is a specific visual. I'm not sure if it's here that I add a header, but I cannot actually remember where is it. But what I'm doing here actually, you can, for example, click on title, change the title from here, and change the color, change the background, all this stuff. Okay, so any other question? Do you have any other question, team? Okay, so don't forget to register on upcoming session. All the material for today will be posted soon on the Meetup, even on YouTube. For the homework, I will post it and share it with you also. And thank you for joining the session today. I hope that you find the session that's something really you will get advantage from it. And yeah, see you on next session and have a nice weekend.